Every Sunday we went into the countryside, and I used to just love playing and in the woods and stuff. There was the streams to wade up and down and make dams, and there was beautiful flowers like I remember a bank where the violets used to smell so gorgeous. I was always in love with nature. I can always remember sort of staring at things. You used to get funny little beetles that used to come out of the little shrimpy things that used to come out of the beach. Once a month we used to go up to what was called Beachy Head and go into the rock pools there. I found an electric eel which was frightening the life out of me. But basically I just loved it, yeah. Well, I always had this image of London in my mind. I wanted to go there by the films, the old films that we used to see on the telly, which were always had neon lights flashing outside of a window. For quite a few months when I was first there, I just wandered around Soho on my own, which was just so exciting because it was much more grimy then. Grime, that's what I like, the grime. And tops of buses, you know, like smoke, people smoking themselves to death. You used to think they're really sophisticated smoke and filth then. It was just fabulous. There was so much nature in London at that time that I didn't think, oh my God, it's awful here, there are no birds, because there were so many bomb sites and derelict buildings. I mean, it was just all sorts of wildlife everywhere. Starlings used to roost over Trafalgar Square, huge flocks, you know, like they make those shapes in the air. Well, the starlings have gone because their habitat's gone. The habitat of all these birds is gone. The derelict sites are there no more. It's all been developed. The unmanicured gardens have gone. The bushes have gone. So all these places where birds could make a home for themselves have just been manicured up. If you're in London, you walk past fossiled walls, fossiled pavements the whole time. You're aware of fossils the whole time. You see them everywhere. And I just sort of connected up that here you see things that have disappeared billions of years ago, and here we are with a world that's disappearing as we speak. I began to put skulls into the floor of fossils. It was like really important to connect the two up, that you're just seeing one disappearing world and then here's another disappearing world. That idea carried on to reindeer skulls and stoats and weasels and all that. All these came into the paintings. So then the badgers' skulls came into these paintings as well. It's often these things that you hear on the radio. You wake up in the morning and you hear the farmers saying that they've decided they're going to cull all the badgers, try and win the government over to cull the badgers in England. And so it was a sort of protest. I thought that they should be buried with the same respect that you see in ancient graves, like ancient Britons. They will have the jewels or all the things that were in their life will be around them, and it's just so that the spirit of this man can carry on into the future. And it's really important to have the badger buried with jewellery and finery and a few things that surrounding him that would make him as important as the human being. We've been talking glibly about this subject, but it's urgent. It's urgent. We're losing wildlife at some phenomenal rate, and it's so important because if you don't have the worms, you don't have the insects, if you don't have all this foundation of our natural world, it just won't be able to recover. If we disappeared, it wouldn't matter in the least. It wouldn't matter in the least, but if all the insects disappear, it would be the end of the world. It couldn't be. They're part of a life cycle. We're not part of a life cycle. All we do is mess it up at the end. I'm working with Amber. She's a photographer who's very interested in the subject, and she found this writing which said, "We are a guest of nature. Behave. We are only a guest of nature. Behave." And that sums it up really.